She was just an ordinary young woman, working long hours to take care of her little sister. He was a billionaire, living in a world of wealth, luxury, and loneliness. No one could have guessed that their paths would cross, but fate has a way of bringing people together in the most unexpected ways. This is the true story of Elena and Marcus, how two very different lives found love. Elena Morales was 27 years old. She worked as a waitress at a small diner called Sunset Grill on the edge of New York City. She was not rich or famous. She did not have expensive clothes or a fancy car. What she did have was determination. She worked long hours every day, sometimes more than 70 hours a week, just to pay rent, bills, and to make sure her younger sister had a safe place to live. Life was not easy. Every night after work, Elena would look out the diner window and imagine a life different from her own. She dreamed of security, comfort, maybe even happiness. But the next morning, she would return to her small apartment in the reality of unpaid bills. Meanwhile, in a tall penthouse overlooking the city, lived Marcus Hale. He was 34, a self-made billionaire. He had started from nothing and built an empire of hotels, technology, and investments. On the outside, Marcus had everything money could buy: luxury cars, private jets, lavish parties. But inside, he was lonely. Friends often wanted only his money. He longed for someone who could see him, not his wealth. Even with all his riches, Marcus felt empty. He had power, but not love. He had influence, but not friendship he could trust. One rainy evening, fate intervened. Marcus's driver had a flat tire, leaving him stranded outside the diner. Seeking shelter from the rain and a warm meal, Marcus entered Sunset Grill. Elena noticed him immediately. He was clearly wealthy, but there was a sadness in his eyes that made him seem human, not untouchable. He ordered simple food, black coffee and a sandwich, and sat quietly by the window. Elena brought him his order and tried not to stare. She noticed he wasn't like other customers. He wasn't rude or hurried. He looked tired, like he carried a heavy weight. As she cleared his table later, Marcus slipped an extra tip into her hand. Not a huge amount, just a little extra, but it felt genuine. That small act of kindness left a mark on Elena. Over the next week, Marcus returned to the diner several times. Each visit, he talked a little, smiled a little. Elena noticed how he watched the world differently, quietly observing people, noticing small acts of kindness. Neither of them realized it yet, but the spark between them was beginning. After a few days, Marcus asked Elena if she would join him for a short walk after her shift. She hesitated. He was rich, she was just a waitress. But something in his gentle voice and quiet eyes made her agree. They walked under streetlights, the rain falling softly around them. Marcus spoke about his childhood in foster homes, his struggles, and how loneliness had followed him despite wealth. Elena spoke about her sister, the diner, and the small dreams she had tucked away. For the first time, Marcus felt someone understood him. For the first time, Elena felt seen, not judged. They didn't hold hands that night. They didn't kiss. But the quiet moments they shared changed both of them forever. But life was not going to make this easy. The next morning, a picture of Marcus leaving the diner appeared in the local newspaper. The headline read, "Billionaire seen with mystery woman." People began to gossip. Some said Elena was only after his money. Others were curious, others jealous. The diner became crowded with strangers. Some customers were rude, assuming Elena was pretending to be someone she was not. Elena's sister was worried. She begged Elena to step away before things got worse. Even her coworkers warned her to stay careful. Marcus faced pressure too. His business partners suggested he keep his distance. They said his reputation was at risk, but he refused. Marcus wanted Elena in his life, not a replacement actress or a fake girlfriend. One evening, Elena told Marcus she could not continue. She was afraid, tired, and overwhelmed. For a moment, their story seemed over before it had even begun. Marcus tried calling her, texting her, sending messages, but she didn't respond. Days went by. His wealth meant nothing without her presence. He felt emptier than ever. Elena returned to her ordinary life, working long shifts and keeping her head down. She tried not to think about him, but inside a small part of her longed to see him again. Then came the day when her world nearly fell apart. Her rent was overdue. The electricity was cut. Bills piled up. She was about to be evicted. Her heart sank. She felt hopeless. She didn't know how she could face another day. That night, Marcus returned to the diner. No driver, no security, just him. He handed Elena's sister an envelope filled with enough money to pay rent, bills, and keep them safe for months. Then he handed Elena a second envelope. He said softly, "I don't want anything from you. I just want to help. You deserve a chance to breathe." He didn't wait for thanks. He left quietly into the rainy night. Elena opened the envelope and tears fell. For the first time in weeks, hope returned. A week later, the newspapers ran a news story. Billionaire helps waitress in need. The gossip continued, but Elena no longer felt fear. She decided to face the world honestly, standing beside Marcus not for money, but for truth. They moved into a smaller home together. Marcus sold his penthouse and simplified his life. He spent more time helping others quietly, away from the cameras. 6 months later, they married in a small garden ceremony with just their family and a few close friends. No gold, no extravagance, only love, honesty, and new beginnings. Sometimes, as they sat together quietly, Elena would ask, "Do you miss your old life?" Marcus would smile and say, "I used to have everything. Now I have what matters most." Love, he learned, cannot be measured in money. It is measured in trust, kindness, and shared moments. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe for more true stories of love that change lives. Comment below, do you believe people from very different worlds can truly fall in love? We would love to hear your thoughts.